What is the kindest thing someone has done for you? When I was a child, I was driven to school every day by my mom. The other kids would comment on how lucky I was, especially on the days where I'd be snug and warm inside the car while other kids were getting soaked in the rain. Then summer came, and I saw all these happy kids, and their parents were guardians arriving by bike, cheeks rosy, smiles on their faces, and I felt jealous. Dad worked long, odd hours, and Mom has multiple sclerosis, which meant her walking days were rapidly dwindling to an end. She could manage tiny distances, like from the car to the door of the house, but that was about it. I knew I was never going to share a moment like that with her, and I knew that admitting I wanted something she couldn't give me would cause her pain, so I kept my mouth shut. Instead, I tried to convince her to let me cycle on my own. But with the distance and the traffic being the kind that inspires articles about terrible accidents, she refused. Then one night, when Dad was home and Mom had gone to bed early because she was so tired, we were talking about how fast Mom's illness was progressing. Dad said he was saving up for a bigger car so they could still travel, but it would be more comfortable for her painful legs and allow her to rest more often. I timidly said, I wish she could cycle to school with me. Dad squeezed my shoulder and said he would try to get different hours so he could do that with me one day. The next day, Mom drove me to school. It was still a beautiful summer day, but I wasn't dwelling on it because of Dad's promise. After school, I walked up to the curb, expecting Mom's car to stand there waiting for me. It wasn't. Maybe she was late, I figured. Or maybe she was more tired than usual. I turned around just in case she had parked it a bit further from the school entrance. I saw a woman waving at me from her bike. My eyesight wasn't the best, so maybe it was one of my classmates' parents. She got closer, wobbling a bit, and there she was, my mom, slowing down to stop beside me. She had braved the long miles and the traffic in her own body. For me, OMG, Mom, I'm so proud of you. I blurted out because even at 7, I could recognize when someone did something that was truly awesome. And that right there was the best thing anyone had ever done for me. The road home was beautiful, and she tried her best not to show how much of a toll this was taking on her, letting me feel like a kid with a healthy mom. Apparently, Dad had mentioned the promise he'd made. So after dropping me off, she had borrowed our neighbor's bike and practiced on it all morning until she felt stable enough to try. The following day, she spent mostly in bed, having to make up for it all. So I convinced Dad to let me stay home for the day to look after her. We mostly ate cookies and watched TV, laughing. I felt incredibly guilty, but also very happy. I also realized that those kids at school were right all along. I was indeed the lucky one to have parents that loved me so much.